gaming. What an industry. What a community. And here we are. Another year of not much, nothing. There was like nothing this year. I played barely anything. I was so bored that I just decided to dive into one of the longest video game franchises of all time and play every single one of them. Look, the expectations for next year, unreal. Everyone's showing up with something. Like I think 2022 is going to be huge. So it's all right if we have a little filler year, you know. We get to show the spotlight on some other things then. What I'm going to do, because I didn't play a lot of games, I'm just going to go through timeline-wise. What did the companies get up to this year? The big three, Xbox, Sony, Nintendo. What were they doing? Chilling this year as the developers slave away on the big stuff coming soon. And then, top three. So join me. Step away from the fire for a second. For part 2 of Tom's Top of 2021. Let's go. Microsoft. So, these guys have been really trying to get on everyone's good side, and I see it. Game Pass has really made its mark on the industry, and the PC integration has been great. People are wondering now if Xbox Live Gold would be fizzled out, since PC Online is free and all, and that's why Microsoft started this year by attempting to double the price of Xbox Live Gold. Remember this? What the heck was this? It was so startling, like a complete 180 from all the good press they've been getting. People were so confused and angry that within a day they went back on their word. It really stood as a reminder that all these companies are just gonna continue to try squeezing more money out of us any chance they get. But hey, they do deserve some credit for actually changing their mind, because come on, if this was somebody else, they would have just waited for everyone to shut up and eventually the hate would have stopped. Microsoft is clearly in the market for long-term gamer trust, and that's not an easy thing to earn. So let's move on to things they actually did. The Bethesda Acquisition is finalized. One of the biggest deals in gaming, at least in the past few years. I mean, these guys had their own separate E3 show. They were huge, and now they're just Xbox. The timing's a bit strange because in terms of that gamer trust, Bethesda has been lacking in it lately. I feel like a lot is riding on Starfield next year. If there's some sort of controversy around it, false promises, tons of glitches, you know, the type of thing Bethesda's known for, I'm going to start wondering if this was the right move for them. But if they delayed Halo a whole extra year to make sure it was good, then I'm assuming they'll hold Bethesda to a similar standard. I almost forgot Deathloop was a Bethesda game because they had already made a deal with Sony to keep it exclusive for a whole year. That is just so awkward. They couldn't even keep Psychonauts 2 exclusive even though they bought Double Fine 2 years ago. Not to mention the direct prequel to that game that isn't even playable on Xbox at all because it's a VR game. Wow, these guys can't catch a break. But none of that really matters because their biggest entry into their biggest series. Now, I'm behind on my Halo. I still have some catching up to do, but let me just say that it took guts to take a game like this that was gonna launch with your brand new shiny system and would have blown the competition out of the water in order to ensure its quality. And I think it paid off because I'm hearing nothing but good things about both the multiplayer and the single player. Best Halo has been in a long time. Overall, a pretty good year for Michael. But like I said earlier, they still haven't even began to reap the benefits of all these companies they bought. It's only a matter of time. As Game Pass grows and their game variety and their competition continues to make everyone angry, I think that's all they need to do. But the key part of that is the game variety. My biggest complaint with them, it's the same as it's always been. There's way too many shoot games. So many shoot games. Like, give me literally anything else. Car game? No. Okay, anything but that. Doesn't help that Bethesda literally just makes shoot games too. I'm kind of glad that Halo's done because, you know, this way they can get us hyped on a big new release that just isn't that, hopefully. I got my eye on them, but I swear to God, if E3 comes around and they're like, okay guys, get ready for the future of gaming, Gears of War 6, I'm just like, alright, bye, I'm out. Okay, Mr. Sony, well, how did you fare this year? Honestly, these guys didn't do a whole lot. Did they? I mean, they stuck with their $70 game decision, which everyone hates, and just recently, we're seeing Square Enix follow suit, so that's a real bad sign. I'm thinking we lost that battle, boys. But Microsoft still isn't budging, because they're on that gamer trust stuff. So like most years, Sony sticks with news that we already heard, but they go into a bit more detail. They really expected us to believe that Horizon 2 and God of War 2 were coming out this year. Like, guys, you don't have to lie to hype up the PS5. We still can't buy it. Actually, I did manage to get one. It's been sitting in my room for like 3 months now, unopened, because I'm too afraid to touch it, unless there's something like I really want to play. I think God of War is my time limit. When that comes out, the PS5 comes out. To be honest, I'm waiting to see if there's like a cool special edition I can buy and then sell this one. But Returnal came close. I heard it was really cool, and I might have played it. But you know, $70. I was also pretty hyped for Ratchet & Clank because that dimension hopping mechanic felt so new and next gen, you know? But when you look at the big picture, that's one mechanic in a game where you jump and shoot cartoon aliens the same exact way you did in the last one that came out on PS4. The only difference? You guessed it, $30 extra. That's okay, PS5. You stay in that corner and think about what you did, and you can come out when you're ready. This slow PlayStation year ends with a rumor that Sony is developing their very own Game Pass competitor. Even if this specific rumor is false, this kind of thing, it's bound to happen. Stuff is certainly starting to get interesting in the game subscription world. If this rumor is to be believed, they said it would merge PS Now and PS Plus, which is the exact thing Microsoft is avoiding with Live Gold. So, I don't know, let the games begin. Alright, buddy, my dear friend, my close friend, Nin. I'll admit, you did start off stronger than the rest with an actual game, or half a game. Like basically every full price port. 3D World is well worth it if you hadn't played before, but not at all if you had. Bowser's Fury ain't a $60 game, but it was fun, if not overhyped, by the starving Nintendo fans. I can see it being a template for potential true open world Mario, but who knows what's in this guy's future. Oh, right. That is. Hey, let's be real. The second they said Illumination was behind this movie, it was garbage on arrival. That studio might be the most heartless, passionless corporate excuse for an animation studio, and I am not talking about movies, I'm talking about games. They put out Pokemon Snap, like what people have been asking for years now, and all that hype didn't really amount to much of a reaction when the actual game came out. Everyone begged them for a game where you take pictures of Pokemon. Then they got it, and they were like, huh, you really just take pictures of Pokemon. That's all you do. Yo, dog, this is not as fun as I remember. Pokemon in a nutshell. Then we got Skyward Sword HD, same deal, worth it if you hadn't played it. I remember when this first came out, and I said, this is it, man. This is my favorite Zelda game of all time. And the next 10 years were nothing but the internet whining and pooping all over this game. I kind of wanted to replay it, just to see if it was really true. But I think I'll continue to enjoy it as a memory rather than a reality. 2 long-awaited sequels became a reality this year. No More Heroes 3 didn't make a huge splash, but that small handful of people who were dreaming of this said it was really great. Wow, I'm happy for them. But I've been waiting for a little thing called Metroid 5. Ultimately not quite what I hoped for, but it was a good time. Had enough thoughts to warrant a whole video on its own, so you can check that out. Got a few essays in the comments section for that one. And then we end with the most bare bones Pokemon remake there ever was. And people bought it anyway, and then said, Yo dog, this is not as fun as I remember. Pokemon fans in a nutshell. We shan't forget the wild roller coaster ride that was the Smash DLC. Speculation and hype is probably more fun than the actual character themselves, but every now and then we get that magic miracle that lives up to the hype and makes people break stuff in their room for no reason. God, I'll miss this. But there literally could not have been a better ending for me. My boy is in. My boy! And he's super floaty and weird and fun to play. I'm still in awe. But I made 5 videos on that, so I think I could stop. How about that new system? Yeah, I forgot about it too. It's so the opposite of what anybody expected. Let's not take into account the rumors even at all. Forget about all that Switch Pro stuff. It was still expected that they do something to upgrade their hardware that was pretty outdated for even when it came out. It was just the right time. They released a new DS practically every year, and they slap a new screen on this and decrease the bezel by 0.02 curbometers or whatever and say, that'll be $350. What are you, Apple? We're officially in the cocky era of the Nintendo cycle. Now they just gotta release the Switch U, no one buys it, they're forced to get humble again, and the cycle repeats. Oh, but we can't seem to end any conversation here without talking about subscriptions. This year's Nintendo controversy is asking you to pay more than double for the same damn service, but now you can play poorly emulated N64 games too. Oh, and Genesis, can't forget those. It's not the same exact move that Xbox tried to pull since it's optional, but yeah, this proved my point. No amount of dislikes changed their mind, and now the time has passed and everyone stopped whining. Can I just say, I don't know if this is controversial, but I don't want to pay subscriptions instead of buying games. Game Pass claims itself as the Netflix of games, which sounds cool, until you realize that opens the door for PlayStation to be the Hulu of games and Nintendo to be the, Acorn TV of games. We have the exact timeline of TV streaming to go off of, and where are we with that? You gotta pay everything to see everything, and it's exactly what they want. They're already giving us the digital consoles, except you can barely fit 2 games on them, so they're not for downloading games, are they? They're for streaming. Even Nintendo's doing cloud gaming. Nintendo! This is the kind of technology they should be 5 years behind. But hey, it's better to stay positive. 2022 is when everyone brings their A game. We got Elden Ring. We got Final Fantasy. We got 3D Kirby. We got Starfield. We got God of War. We got Breath of the Mother effing Wild. No wonder this year was filler. But for now, let us pay homage to the warriors who held this year on their backs. It's time for the top 3. I kind of feel bad for this one. It shouldn't count. But I'd be lying if I said I enjoyed more than 2 games higher than the free demo for Deltarune. It's rare a game comes out that shakes the entire internet. It makes everyone just so happy that it's fun to be a part of the discussion. It's fun to be on Twitter. Everything about this series just sparks joy. I feel bad that there's still haters out there who haven't played Undertale just because, the fan base was annoying when it came out or something. Get over it. The game is 6 years old. When Deltarune Chapter 1 first dropped, out of nowhere, the surprise was crazy. But after playing through it, I remember feeling okay, that was okay. It's not going to be as great as Undertale, and we still don't really know what exactly it is, but it's a nice little bonus. Now, after experiencing Chapter 2, there's so much more to love. There's so much more depth to the world, the characters, the gameplay. And the curtain is now being opened ever so slightly, just enough to get everyone hooked and theorizing. Then you finish it and you see that there's still 5 more chapters, and you're just left thinking, well, this will probably surpass Undertale. The hype is unreal for the full release of this game. I normally don't do this, but I think I'm gonna go full internet lockdown when it comes out. I'm talking 0 communication with anyone. Just playing the game so I can be fully spoiler free. If anyone wonders where I am, don't forget, I'm with you in the dark. While the big boys are away, the indies will play. There were a lot of indie games that passed by me this year, and I still need to give a shot, but one in particular simply demanded my attention the second I saw it revealed. Inscription doesn't really need to be explained. Its setting and its tone, it does all the intrigue for you. But what I can explain to you is that the game, wrapped under that amazing aesthetic, is a continuously evolving, savagely addictive, incredible card game. If you're the type of person who sees cards and gets scared or turned off, let me assure you that this game is so simple and clean. And because it's asymmetrical and a video game, it teaches you the mechanics slowly so you can get to play a little with the basic idea before it adds a new rule and starts expanding. This is a game that anyone can master, and mastering it is the biggest draw. But it's also so much more than a card game. It's also this mystery escape room where you can actually leave the table and explore, trying to figure out how to escape this madman keeping you here. And as you learn how the game works, you find more clues to help you unlock helpful bonuses and uncover some lore here and there. The two sides of this game play with each other perfectly. And if you've played a game from Dan Mullins before, you know that there's a lot going on under the hatch. I've heard one complaint in particular about this game, and it's that the first act or so is superior to the ones that follow, such that people start to feign interest in a certain point. For me, the gameplay and the story just kept evolving in new and interesting ways. That's exactly what kept me hooked to the game. But for those people, the developer is working on a DLC that enhances the first act and turns it to its own separate roguelike thing with new challenges and new features and stuff. It sounds amazing. And it's gonna be free for all. The absolute king. 2022 is set to be a year of long-awaited releases. If it all goes according to plan, the 3-year wait for Elden Ring will be over, as will the 4-year wait for Starfield and God of War Ragnarok, the 5-year wait for Breath of the Wild 2. But believe it or not, this year did have a game finally arrive that's been in development for longer than any of those games, and it was absolutely worth the wait. My game of the year is Psychonauts 2.
Here goes nothing.
That brain was booby-trapped. Someone hired him. Someone on the inside.
I'm not sure who to trust anymore.
Isn't it great? The Psychonauts haven't had this kind of a threat in years.
Too late to turn back now. My name is Raz, and today is my first official day on the job.
When I think about what makes a good AAA game, I first think fun. Gameplay-wise, it should be filled with new and interesting stuff to do. It should take that budget power and use it to try and blow your mind with astounding sequences and deliver an innovative experience that just makes you go, wow, this is so cool. And I don't mean that in a way that a Naughty Dog game does, with essentially a glorified cutscene that has the player occasionally press triangle as they watch what happens around them. I mean it in a sense that, wow, look at all the cool stuff I'm doing, directly with gameplay. Then you sprinkle in a fantastical world on top of that, just bursting with creativity and graphical eye candy, and you have a game for the ages. There are a handful of games that do this, but 9 times out of 10, they tend to lack an extra factor, the story. I'll always take something with great gameplay over a great story, but not every game needs to be one or the other. If you haven't figured it out yet, Psychonauts 2 does just about goddamn everything I want in a game. It goes above and beyond to wow me at every corner. It has a great story with twists and turns, but it never loses track of being a fun time from start to finish. The 3D collectathon platformer might be my favorite genre, and I think I can say without a doubt, this is one of the best. The only person I wouldn't recommend this game to is honestly someone who just doesn't like platformers. And it's funny, I roasted Microsoft so much for only having shooters, and this feels like them saying, all right, asshole, here you go. And I hope they continue funding games like this, but honestly, I'm not hearing anyone talk about this game. It's not getting nearly the recognition it deserves. It makes me so sad. Like, the Xbox audience so massively doesn't care about anything without a gun in it. But even the industry as a whole didn't recognize this game. Like, not a single win at the Game Awards. What could have possibly been a better candidate for Best Game Direction?
Deathloop.
Yeah, so Deathloop is my first game as a game director.
Through my cosmic